What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Sneak peek next week. Lethal Blaze in the house. But you know what? We're not going to talk about that tonight. We'll talk about that next week. Guys, what's happening? AJ Gore here, and we are back for yet another Get Tuesday Night Live. Yes, yet again, here we go. It's going to be a good time. And I'm going to just get this out there right now because it just dawned on me. Jennifer Ludeman was all up my butt last week about my squeaky chair. She was just all up the booty. Just, AJ, oil that chair. And I was going to. And I forgot. So you know what? It's not that loud right now, but I'm sure it's going to be making some squeaky noises throughout this broadcast. And I apologize. Why? Because I forgot to oil my chair. Oh, there it is right there. Sure you guys can hear it. But yeah, I still got that noisy chair. So Jennifer Ludeman, when you tune in, you're going to hear that noisy chair. It's just the way it is. It's just the way it's going to be. All right. Well, let's jump over to the comment section. Let's see who we got popping in here right now. We're going to have ourselves a good show. But before I do that, guys, do me a favor, especially the Facebook people. Last week on Facebook, we had an issue to where Facebook just popped out. It just dropped off and just didn't work. I see it's working this week. Hopefully, we don't have any issues like that. But if you guys are watching via Facebook, do me a favor, click that like, share, and put it in your favorite groups. Put it on your page. Facebook is the one platform that is the most shareable. So that's the easiest one to share. Why is that important? The more shares we get, the more views we get, the more I can actually do a giveaway. YouTube is shareable. Of course, half the time you're going to share it to like your Instagram or Facebook or whatever. You're going to copy the link and post it and blah, blah, blah. And that's still good. I still would love it if you guys do that. Why does that benefit you if you guys do that? Because the more shares, the more views we get, the more we can do giveaways. And guys, last week, we had a giveaway that I was going to try to do this week, but we just had such low viewership, and partly because of that was because of the Facebook drop-off. So we're going to try it again this week and hopefully be able to give you guys a fishing reel next week. And what reel is that going to be? The People's Champ, the tried and true. We were talking about it last week, Sharky 3 right there, guys. Okay, so we're going to be giving that away again. I'm still want to hook the people up with that opportunity, but we got to get them views up. So do me a favor, share, especially you Facebook people, as long as it allows us to do it. Let's just get it out there. All right. So with that said, let's jump over and see who we've got popping off in the comment section. We got Gary as usual. Gary says, hello, AJ. Hello to everyone. Hope you all had a happy Labor Day. Still sidelined from fishing because of the foot. Hopefully we'll find out this Thursday if it's broken. Man, I hope it's not broken. But at the same time, depending on what it could be, broken bones sometimes heal faster than other injuries. So maybe a broken foot would be better. Maybe. If we're trying to get back on the water sooner. We'll see. I mean, it's all up for argument and perspective. Juan Pedroza, what's going on, brother? Bob, what's happening? Says hello to Gary. Helen Jones is in the house. Hello, Helen. Who else we got in here? We've got Dan Yeckel in the house. Of course, Steve Yeckel bringing up the tail there. Sean, how's it going, brother? Glad to have you in the house. Rashawn Hunt, what's up? Already ordered the Lethal Blaze. Yeah, guys, check it out. I got the Lethal Blaze. Just got them today. My samples came in. We're going to be talking about them next week. Check that out, the Lethal Blaze. Now, in this lighting, this reel looks red. It looks red as can be on camera. In front of my face, looking at it, it doesn't. It looks orange, but it looks red. As I'm looking at it, it's probably just my lighting and everything else going on. It looks red, but it is orange. That is orange. The rod looks very orange in this lighting, but this is more orange than it is red, just as a heads up. That is the Lethal Blaze bait casting combo. We're not going to get into it tonight. I just literally unpacked them probably 20 minutes ago to check them out. And then, of course, I also have the Lethal Blaze spinning. So same thing. That's orange, but it looks almost red in this lighting, which is kind of crazy. But, yeah, they look good. They feel good. Those are kind of some cool, nifty little things. The Lethal Blaze, guys, on sale right now. Casking.com, Amazon.com, and also as well as the TikTok shop. But, guys, definitely go check those out. All right, who else we got up in the heezy? We got Gerald Manangsong. Hello, what's going on? Charlin, what's going on? Brandon Johnson, hello. Melissa Justice in the house as usual. We got the Justice family in here bringing up the slack. Good to have you. Good to have you. Kate, my lovely, beautiful mountain biking wife. Love you. God bless you. Hey, she says she's in the house. Who else we got? She's literally in the house. Yeah, she won't be here in a little bit. She's got to go to church with the ladies. So she got to go, hallelujah, praise the Jeezy. So we got Chana Argus, what's happening? Patrick Feely, got my replacement rover today. It ate the entire 150 yards full of hammer brain. They can get a little bit hungry, can't they? William Joe Elliott, hello, made it. You're at work. Well, hey, wherever you're watching this from, God bless you. We love you. We got Robert Barnes from Texas. Got to love it when we've got our Texas friends in here. Chris McVeigh, that guy slays them all the time. Hello. Gary saying hello to Rashawn Brandon Johnson. Jose in the house. He's saying, what the hell? Yeah, what the hell is right with that lethal blaze, getting all blazed up with the lethal blaze. All right, who else we got in here? Juan Pedro. I always screw that up. I want to say Juan Pedro. Juan Pedroza. Well, sorry, my apologies. I get tongue-tied, get going so fast, and I apologize. But he says an MGTI. Do you have one, Juan? Did you get one yet? Did you order one? Did you just get it? What's the story with that comment? The people want to know. Who else we got in here? I'm having issues with Facebook. See, that's what I noticed last week was Facebook completely dropped off and said that there was an error on Facebook, and it shows to be working fine here. So it might be on your end. You never know sometimes, but on my end, it shows everything is working smoothly. Seth Larson in the house. Right there. I think I took that picture of Seth actually with the biggest fish he's ever caught in his life. No, I'm just kidding. Seth's got quite a few big donkeys there. But that pond out there, I believe, is up in Black River area. That was a great day right there. But Seth just celebrated a birthday. He just turned 21. Not really. But no, happy birthday, Seth. Happy belated birthday for those of you guys watching it. Seth recently celebrated a birthday within the last 2-3 days. We got Team Fat Kid Fishing in the house. What's happening, brother? All right, so let's just keep on rolling on. We got a lot of other people joining in. I appreciate it. Again, guys, do me a favor, especially on Facebook. Yeah, see, thank you for that. Facebook working just fine on my end. I'm on Facebook. Everything is so good so far. Rashawn bringing in a true statement right there. That MGTI is the heat. Dude, I'm telling you what, I got to use it a little bit this weekend. Actually caught my personal best this weekend. Whoop, whoop. Last weekend, Ricky Farley, a.k.a. the Human Forklift, broke out of his 4.5-pound personal best and doubled it into a solid 8-pounder on a drop shot, Cascade gear, of course. And this weekend, exactly 7 days later, I hit my personal best with a solid 8-pounder. Went from 7.5 to a solid 8. Would like to see them double digits come soon. But, hey, good things are happening for both of us. Boomeranged that. We both nailed it. I've been stuck, both of us for about a decade have been stuck in that, me 7.5 pounds. And then Ricky he's had him on the line quite a few times, man. Quite a few times he had his personal best and broke him off or they came off, whatever the story was. But he finally got it done, as did I on Sunday. So it was pretty cool. But it wasn't using the MGTI. I did throw the MGTI. I've got it set up on a Carolina rig right now. Caught my personal best flipping a brush hog. And then, of course, quite a few other techniques were thrown out there, but I was like, of course, it's got to be on the old Skeet Reese reel, which, guys, I ain't hating on that Skeet Reese reel. Never will, never going to. I love that. That is one of the best $100 reels you'll ever get in your life. It's just so good, so good. All right, so let's get on to our agenda for the evening, guys, and we are talking. Caleb Greenwald, what's up, man? Haven't seen you in forever. See, I'm just going to get sidetracked all night. Can't get sidetracked all night. Milton, it'll come to you, brother. Maybe for Christmas you'll get that MGTI, brother. It'll happen. Got some sales coming up. It'll be great. So we'll see what we can do there. All right. What is this? I heard things, Gore. I heard things happening this weekend. It did. Got that personal best this past weekend. Was thinking about going out again this weekend, but I've got a big car audio install I got to do. So no fishing for me this weekend. Anyways, all right, let's get to it, guys. We are now, as of today, September 2nd. And what does September 2nd mean? It means the fall transition is starting to happen, especially back east and other parts of the country. Here in Arizona, California, areas like that, Nevada, we still got that heat, guys. That heat. And I'm not talking about that lethal blaze heat. Well, that's next week. But no, we still got pretty much almost triple digits. We're right there at the edge of triple digit numbers for heat going on. So the fall transition will happen a little bit later for some of us West Coasters. maybe late September going into October, we're going to see a little bit more fall transitions. But like I said, for some of the other rest of the country, you're going to start seeing it quite a bit sooner for us. So what does that mean? What does that mean for you guys? So Danny says for him, that means go ahead and post your comments, guys. I'm going to be throwing them up there. Big stripers soon. So yeah, I mean, it totally means I finally found out how to join you on Facebook. Oh, well, I'm glad that you can do that, Jimmy. Glad to see it. But anyways, big stripers. But yeah, in that fall transition, it means that we're going to start seeing a shift from some of your hotter weather patterns to some more fall patterns. So guys, let me know in the comment section. I'm going to throw them out there on the screen, and we're going to throw it back and forth and have a nice little discussion. What are your go-to baits? And I'll give you some of my pointers and some of the things that I think you guys should be throwing no matter what part of the country you're in when that fall transition starts to happen. And then, of course, I'd be curious to see what are your go-tos for your area. So when you put up your comment, please let me know, hey, I'm in South Texas, I'm in northern New Mexico, I'm in Alabama, I'm in Maine, I'm in Michigan, California, Florida, wherever it may be. Let me know where you're at in the country and what you guys primarily like to throw, whether it's one bait or several. What is your go-to when that fall transition starts to happen? And what do you look for when you start changing that? So let's take a look at some. I'm already starting to see some of the things here in the comment section. Of course, we got Melissa Justice saying she's in South Texas. Gary saying throwing some jerk baits, which jerk baits is definitely a contender when you start to see that that fall transition. The bass are really active in the fall and feed in preparation for the winter. Very true, very true. Robert Barnes says he's in Central Texas. If you ever end up in Virginia, hit me up. Get on the boat. Would love to. Would absolutely love to. Same thing in Arizona. Hit me up. Let me know if you're ever out here in the Arizona way, guys, and I'll get out on the water. Weightless flukes, always. Now, you know what? That is a great point right there. The fact that you ended it with always. Now, Doug's in California. He's a Cali boy, right? And he's going to be – he's on to some fire right there. A weightless fluke. I don't care if it's in the spring, in the fall, in the summer. A weightless fluke is going to do well for you. Now, that's where that MGTI, Kestrels, MG12, a lot of those are going to excel for you with throwing baits like a weightless fluke because you're going to be able to get it out there. You're going to be able to throw a lot lighter lure. That's the whole concept of Kestrel, MGTI, MG12, is to be able to throw a lot lighter lure without the effort on a bait caster in a lot of different conditions. So I definitely recommend using that kind of a reel setup for something like a weightless fluke for sure. Robert Barnes, you're onto it right now, man. Let me see. Where did it go? Right as I was clicking onto your comment, it jumped away. Where did it go? Why am I posted up in the corner like this? Let me fix this. There we go. I don't know why. I just noticed that I was off in the corner like that. I apologize, guys. So what do we got here? Where did it go? Robert Barnes in Central Texas. Why did that move? Okay, right here. There it is. Finally found it. Okay, so Robert Barnes is saying top water in Texas. I completely agree with that. Later on this month in Arizona, in September going into October, that top water bite is going to really start coming live. Now, guys, we're talking top water in September, and that can do very well no matter where you are in the country. If it's starting to get into like your 80s and high 70s, wherever you're at in the country, you're really going to start seeing good top water. Now, I would start throwing it now. What temperatures in your area, guys, would you start going after that top water? And what top water are we talking about? Because that is definitely something to speak of. So for me, I'm going to go into, of course, when you talk top water, one of the first things that people think about in top water is going to be a buzz bait. Well, what are some other top water baits that can do really well? Buzz bait, this is a great bait to do. You can throw a buzz bait in the heat of the day. I recommend, especially in top water this time, something with a heavy clacker, okay? So there's a lot of buzz baits out there that work great, and they're going to make a lot of noise in the water. But if you see this extra little rotor, this extra little like prop here, so as that rotor turns, it's going to hit this clacker, if you will, and make some extra noise. So things like that in the fall, you're going to want to really look at a buzz bait or top water bait that's going to be quite noisy. So what is your go-to? Is there a certain brand of buzzbait you like? Is there a certain color that's fire for you? For me, in the fall, throwing a buzzbait, I'm going to want to throw something with a clacker. And as you can see, this Lunker Hunt turbine has that prop with that clacker right there that's really going to make a great noise. Now, for me, like chartreuse could be the juice, black and blue, black with reds. On my lakes, we have a lot of shad. A lot of shad is what they eat a lot throughout the year. Crawdads, crayfish, and shad. Those are big, big food sources no matter what lakes I fish, whether it's Tocoli, Roosevelt, San Carlos, Apache. Those lakes are going to produce a lot of shad. So, of course, a white or white and black, things to that nature, that's going to really give up some juice. Now, this could also simulate smaller crappie, things like that. So it's great. Bluegill are big, things that nature. That's definitely going to do great for you. Doug, yeah, definitely. That MG12 is money for flukes. Fantastically money it is. Darn tootin' fig newt it is. All right, let's see what else we got in the comment section and see. We'll get to that. Rashawn, I see you, and we're going to get to that. Now, anytime you can get Brandon Garcia to agree with whatever you're saying, you know you're onto it. Brandon Garcia is one of my favorite dudes, man. He's such a funny guy. All right, what else we got? Oh, look at that right here. Got my personal best on a white fluke junior, 5.8 pounds. So that's pretty good. What else we got? Fluke, small spinner baits, Ned rigs for Southern Michigan is going to do very well for you. Gilbert says, caught a 4-pound, 10-ounce smallie on Lake St. Clair perch fishing. 5-foot Para-G rod. 5-foot Para-G rod, man. You were really doing some ultralight kind of stuff right there. Crappie rig minnow on a 1-ounce pyramid sinker. Wasn't expecting it at all. Dude, I'll bet you that was a fun bite right there, catching a 4-pound, almost, I mean, you're getting close to 5-pound smallie on that. And smallie's good. Lord, they fight so hard. I bet that was a blast catching that guy right there. What else we got going on here? Salted or unsalted? Now, that is the question. That is the question. Not sure what you're asking, but that is the question. Lake Winnebago right here. Let's take a look. Lake Winnebago, shallow weeds, 6'8", jig crawler on the bottom will catch anything, perch, walleye, bass. That's another great thing. Like a lot of times you think in the fall transition, and I'm not saying this is wrong. I do agree. Now I'm going to put a lot of emphasis on baits that are more reaction baits, like fast moving baits, like buzz baits. I'll save some of those other ones for later in the show, but you're onto something there. I'm not disagreeing with you at all because I really was conflicted not saying it. I'm going to still throw a jig and a Carolina rig year round. Those will always be on my boat year round. Now, as we go from summer into fall, I'm still flipping into some of the trees, especially when it gets a little bit into the heat of the day. I go into those shaded pockets and I start flipping into those shaded holes and see what we can pull out with that. So you're not wrong by any means. Let's see what else we got in these comment sections. Don't forget crabs for togs. Okay. All right, let's see here. Jimmy says right here, fluke small spinnerbait Ned rigs for Southern Michigan. Okay, see, spinnerbait is on my list, and we'll get to that in a little bit here. Boom. But yes, definitely something to look at right there. Caught my new personal best on my junior. Saw that one. I love weightless flukes as well. Strike King caffeine shad is my go-to. You're welcome, Robert Barnes. You're absolutely welcome. Let's see here. Oh, hold on. Getting distracted, but we got to say it. Lethal Blaze Baitcaster and Sharky 3 Baitcaster coming my way. So excited. Yes. Okay. Now, we talked about buzzbaits. Now, if we're going to be throwing buzzbaits, what is the reel before I get off buzzbaits and move on to the next one? We talked about for like a weightless fluke, things to that nature. What gear ratio do you guys like to throw a buzzbait with, and what reels do you throw them on? Than the Cast King lineup. I've got a couple to throw out there for those of you who are tuning in, trying to go, okay, well, what am I going to throw them on? What gear ratios? I'm going to think, okay, I got to get a buzzbait. Buzzbaits are better with a faster gear ratio. You can still throw a buzzbait with a normal gear ratio, like 7:2 to 1, all the way down to 6 speed gear ratio. You're just going to have to burn them faster. So if you guys were going to be tying on a buzzbait, what is your go-to reel and why? And I know there's going to be some contenders flying out there right now, and we'll see what we have in just a second here. Let's see. We'll get back down here. So let's see here. Royale Legend Pro. Okay, see, Royale Legend Pro is not a bad one. Why is that not a bad one to throw it on? Because the Royale Legend Pro is available in a 7:2-to-1 gear ratio, I believe it is 7:2-to-1 and 7:4-to-1. Now, the Royale Legend Elite, which is its predecessor from years ago, it's no longer available. It came in 4 different gear ratios. Now, I would definitely recommend the Royale Legend Elite in red because it's a 9-speed gear ratio, but there was also an 8-speed gear ratio. If I remember correctly, that was in, I want to say it was in white. I might be wrong. I'd have to go back. I know black was a 7-speed, but there was an 8-speed either in the Mega Jaws original or in the Royale Legend. Now, in the Royale Legend Elite, the 9-1 was available in red. Now, another great option for that, throwing a buzzbait, is definitely going to be a Speed Demon Elite 10.5-to-1 or the 8.6-to-1. Both will run a buzzbait very well. I think that 8.6-to-1 Speed Demon Elite baitcaster gets overlooked quite a bit, quite too often, because everybody thinks, oh, Speed Demon Elite, got to get that 10.5-to-1. That 10.5-to-1 is going to do just fine. You can flip. You can turn big bass. A lot of people get scared of that higher gear ratio, but it will definitely work very well. I've proven it time and time again with bigger fish. That Speed Demon Elite will do great in heavy-duty power fishing, but it extremely excels on running a bait like a buzzbait. That 8.6-to-1 is just as good as well. Now, I got to go over to my boy Jose right here. He is not wrong in the least. As long as you're getting in that 8-speed and up, that is where you're going to do great and not have to burn a bait. You can actually kind of relax and let that gear ratio do the work for you. And the Mega Jaws Elite is a fantastic option for that for multiple reasons. Coming in at 9:1-to-1, and it also has that A and B or auto mag braking system that's also going to be very easy for users to set up and take advantage of. One thing I love too with that auto mag braking system and with a buzzbait, I'm going to cast that bait out and I'm not going to let it hit the water and then stop it. I'm actually going to thumb that bait before it ever hits the water and slow it down. And as soon as it's about to hit the water, because I thumbed it before it hits, I'm already engaging that reel and starting the retrieve. Because as soon as it hits that water, I'm already wanting it to start on top. A lot of times, if you let it hit the water and then you engage the reel because you click it, move it over, whatever it may be, that bait starts to sink, and then you have to bring it up on top. Higher gear ratio reels will get it to the top and get it to the top a lot faster than other reels without having to burn it. But if you can play with that trick, thumb it before it ever hits the water and already engage that reel to as soon as it barely touches that water, you're already on your retrieve, you're going to notice a lot better hookups and action that's more natural in those settings. Doug, you're not wrong with a Bassinator. That 8:1-to-1 is going to do great for you. Only problem with the Bassinator is that the fact that it is discontinued. So if you already have the reel, fantastic. But it is a discontinued version, so that is going to create a challenge for somebody coming in new. But the Bassinator is definitely, if you got them, I've got 8:1-to-1 Bassinators brand new in the box on the shelf for my rainy days that I don't know if I'll ever break them out, but I want to. All right, so here's another great one. 8:1 gear ratio in the Virus. Guys, you've heard me talk about it. That Virus reel, everybody has slept on it until recently. It's sold out on the website, but I'm sure you guys can be able to possibly find it on the TikTok shop or on Amazon. It's a great way to go looking for it. That is a super affordable reel that works amazing. We were sleeping on it when it first came out. I finally started using it, and I've been a big advocate for it. But yes, 8:1 gear ratio, like I said, anything in that 8-speed and up is going to work fantastic for you. So Justin Taylor, my man, thank you for the invite to go fishing, but also great news on that reel. So yeah, that's going to do that for you too. Now, another ball bait that got discussed and got brought up, and actually before I get into it would be that spinnerbait, but it's topwater baits. So let's say you guys don't have a high speed gear ratio, 8:1 and up, 9:1, 10.5, and you still want to take advantage of that topwater bait similar to a buzzbait that puts out a lot of noise, like I talked about that clacker, guys, you can do it on a spinning reel. You can do it on a bait caster. It doesn't matter the gear ratio. What bait am I talking about? Makes a lot of noise, acts like a buzzbait, but you can retrieve it very slow and it will float the whole time. Let me see in the comment section who's thinking of it. It makes a lot of noise. Let me know in the comment section. Anybody got what I'm talking about? What are we talking about, guys? Let's see in the comment section before I bring it up. I don't think I have one in this little box. I know I got a ton in my boat. But I didn't want to go break into my boat and untarp it to get it. Yes, Melissa Justice is all over at the Plopper, aka the Whopper Plopper. Then Russ has got it too as well. Got it right there. Whopper Plopper is the way to go, and that Plopper. So Melissa Justice, first one to come across my screen. Russ with the full term of it, the Whopper Plopper. Yes, yes, yes. That is going to be a great option when you don't have a buzzbait or you don't have a reel as fast as a buzzbait, or you prefer a Whopper Plopper. Whopper Ploppers sometimes have heavy rattles, plus they make a lot of noise and that plopping sound. That is a phenomenal bait to use for topwater, and it works great on any gear ratio. You can burn it, you can slow it, you can do whatever you want. Now, to close that out, one last bait that I strongly recommend if you're going to do a topwater and you want to slow it down a little bit instead of burning it is a spook or a walking bait, okay? But I recommend one with a lot of rattle, okay? One with a lot of rattle because you're trying to get, not only are you getting that motion on the top and you're making disruption, but you also want to send out that audible sound. So the audible presentation in the fall, I think, is very, very important. Okay, so now, another bait that we're talking about that is really good in the fall transition is going to be, and it got brought up a few minutes ago, is the spinner bait, okay? There's tons of spinner baits out there, guys. They're super affordable. This is probably one of the best baits on the market of all time. It gets forgot about so often, and then all of a sudden it's starting to get popular again. It's the old-fashioned spinner bait. Dude, I used to buy these things at Yellowfront. If you guys are old and you guys know what Yellowfront is or had one in your world, you know how old that is. When I was a kid, I used to go to with my dad, and this was the bait that I fell in love with that got me into bass fishing. It worked 40, 50 years ago. It still works today. It is a phenomenally great bait. It is the spinner bait. Now, one thing I want to talk about when it comes into spinner baits, buzz baits, things like that, guys, I definitely recommend right here, I like a stinger hook, okay? I like to put a stinger hook on my spinner baits, on my buzz baits, and also at times on my bladed jigs, because a lot of times they'll come up and swat at it because of the noise that it makes, and they don't always just get a full bite on it, and they grab that tail, whether you got a trailer on there, whatever it may be. So I like a stinger hook, and you'll notice a lot more hookups on that. This is a great bait to throw all day long, early morning, middle of the day. Oh, to touch on that buzz bait, that buzz bait's going to do really good for you all day long. You're going to see windows of feeding in the morning and the evening that's going to do exceptionally well. But buzz baits and spinner baits, and since we're talking about it, since we're into that conversation of fall baits, we got these Mad Bite bladed jigs, guys. These will work. Whatever bladed jig you guys want to use. This happens to be the Mad Bite bladed jig too. You can already see I got a trailer on it. But a great combo is the stinger hook on your bladed jig. Try a stinger hook on a bladed jig. Try a stinger hook on a spinner bait or on your buzz bait. Notice a lot more hookup ratios with that. But yeah, guys, all day long, especially when you get a little bit of water chop, when you get a little bit, the wind picks up, the water starts to get a little bit choppy. How do you keep your line from getting tangled when tossing a spinner bait? So usually I don't have that problem much. But one thing that you can look at, it could come down to line twist. And to me, I almost feel like you're throwing that spinner bait with a spinning rod. Spinning rods are horrible for line twist in certain conditions. They call it wind. So also that spinner bait, when you cast it, can twist. And if you didn't put your line on in the correct rotation coming off the spool when you first lined it, that can cause line twist. Same thing like if you're throwing worms, drop shot, things like that. If you ever notice when you're retrieving it and your bait is helicoptering on the retrieve, that's going to create line twist and create more headaches for you. So some ways to help alleviate that, run your reel full of line under warm water for quite a while. That'll help relax that memory of that line and hopefully true that up a little bit. Another thing you can do too is take your bait caster or spinning reel, tie it around like the hitch of your truck, a tree, and kind of stretch your line slightly. Let it pull, have your drag tight, but not too tight, and let it slip a little bit, but enough that you can feel it kind of stretching your line slightly. That'll also help kill some of that memory on that line twist. That's one of my recommendations there. So, but yes, need a stinger hook. I also added a bucktail to mine. Nice, Gary, very nice. Spinner bait is my go-to in windy conditions. Yeah, so Devin Cartwright, you're absolutely right. Russ, what is your favorite spinnerbait trailer, AJ? Oh, God, that's a lot. Grubtail worms, as well as there's a worm that has like 2 kicker legs. Those work really well. I like that a lot. Those are some of my go-tos on spinnerbaits, but a grubtail and that kicker leg worm. But also I'm going to start playing with is those new bellows, those bellow style baits or trailers. I've been kind of playing with those a little bit. Mainly on bladed jigs. Haven't thrown one on a spinnerbait, but I might try it just to see what it does. That's kind of my favorite trailer there. But yeah, so Devin, you're right. Anytime that wind picks up, start throwing a spinnerbait, and especially target those. And this works no matter what time of year it is, but fall is going to work really great for you. Target those wind-blown banks if you're in a boat. If you're on the bank, well, do the best you can wherever you're at, kayak, look at it. But on a boat, go for those wind-blown banks. That breeze picks up, bladed jig, and a spinnerbait. Those are great baits to use, especially in the fall. So now, the great thing about a bladed jig as well as a spinnerbait is you don't necessarily need a targeted gear ratio for it to excel. So you can throw a 5-4 to 1 spinning reel, 6-2 to 1 bait caster, 7-2 to 1, even an 8-speed gear ratio. You can throw it all the way up into your high-speed gear ratios, but you just may have to find yourself at times slowing it down a little more. Spinnerbaits, bladed jigs, they work well at all different speeds. You just got to kind of play with, okay, do they want me to slow roll it? Do they want me to burn it? Another thing that I think people actually sleep on a lot when it comes to a spinnerbait is your heavier spinnerbaits. Most people buy a 3/8 ounce spinnerbait, which is what I'm showing here. But if you can find it, if you go to like your Bass Pro Shops, get on Amazon, Tackle Warehouse, Omnio, whatever it may be, look for 3/4 to 1 ounce spinnerbaits. Heavy dogs, I know. But then when things get tough, if say you have a cold front move in, especially in the fall, you're starting to get more into mid-fall, late fall, and it's starting getting a lot colder, spinnerbaits can still work really well for you right here. No worries, Jennifer Ludman. Hopefully your daughter is doing good. I already did a disclaimer, Jennifer. I didn't oil my chair, so it's probably going to annoy you again. I'll try to have it oiled for next week. I wanted to throw that out there. I talked about it at the beginning of the show. Anyways, but going into late fall, winter conditions, this even works in the heat of the summer. And the reason why it works so well is we're talking about your water table. Sometimes the fish will have a shock, like a cold front will come through, or a big heat wave will come through, and the fish will move to more stable water conditions or a different water table, and they'll go deeper. They'll get down to like 30 foot of water, 15 foot of water, and sometimes your lighter spinnerbaits like 3/8, half ounce, and 1/4 ounce just aren't going to get to those bass unless you wait for an hour and a half for them to sink to the bottom. And then when you pick them back up, they come right up, okay? Now, those 3/4 ounce to 1 ounce spinnerbaits, they're a lot heavier. They're going to sink to the bottom a lot better, and they're going to stay lower. So a lot of times those bass and those fish, whatever species you're after, if you're using a spinnerbait, will sit there on the bottom. Let that spinnerbait get all the way to the bottom. Let it hit those heavier spinnerbaits, and then slow roll them back to where you can barely feel that blade rotating. And then at times you feel it bang in the bottom. Ding, ding, ding. You're trying to really just create that reaction bite. And you're going to notice a lot more bites. And you're going to notice bigger fish too in times and areas. I mean, who would think to throw a spinnerbait in 30 foot of water? It works. You just got to really think about it and practice, and you're going to start noticing some bigger bites that way. So that's another key feature. All right. So what's another great fall bait, guys, that you guys can think of? What's another great fall bait that is going to work well for us? We talked about the buzz bait. We talked about spinnerbait and bladed jigs. We talked about spooks and whopper ploppers. Jerk baits did get mentioned. What's another key one that you guys are going to go to on your fall transitions? I generally use half ounce and 3/8 ounce. That's not a bad one. I'm telling you, try out that 3/8 or the 3/4 to 1 ounce spinnerbaits. They are heavy. Get up your line weight a little bit stiffer action rod, more medium heavy to medium action. and check those out. You're gonna find kind of a pleasant surprise when you really give it its time. Flat football jig in full swing. Nice. Okay, got it in late. My reels, skeet reese, icon, mega jobs. I have 2 setups. Nice. Do you guys put a plastic on the Mad Bite buzz bait? Absolutely. I just showed that Mad Bite bladed jig, and it actually had a grub on it. So yes, definitely. All right, chatterbaits and bladed jigs. That's right. Okay, so Big Peppo, you're absolutely on the right track. I was hoping somebody would go for that. Doug, you're not wrong either. That's another one. Now, so Big Peppo and Mike Christian, you guys are absolutely correct. That was kind of what I'm going to, but there's one more that goes side by side. Lenny, see if you can do it. I've talked about it. Let's see if Lenny the legend, I'm calling you out on this one, Lenny Antonio. Talking about that 1-ounce spinnerbait on his Zebco 33. There you go. But Lenny, what is a bait I've talked to you about when it starts getting to fall, things get a little bit tougher, and I throw these into the trees and I let them bang around the trees, and it turned into money for me quite a few years, and it's something that it sometimes has to snap in my head before I throw it. What is it? Let's see if Lenny knows. That lipless is for sure part of that world. It's along the same world. It's going to work very similar, but there's a bait similar to a lipless with a couple other features that's going to work very well for you. But yes, a lipless, that's a great go-to search bait. But there's one that it really starts to excel, especially when you start banging them out of structure and off of trees. What is it? Let's see what you got, Lenny. Anybody know? I'm going to jump in here. And the cool thing is I'm actually reaching into one of my pond hopping backpacks. That way I didn't have to break into my boat. Okay. Now, Big Peppo, you're on the right path here, but I'm looking for a specific type of crankbait. Let's see here. Underspins are good. You a Zuri Ratton vibe, that's very good. Yes, bing, bing. You got it right there. Devin Cartwright's got it. Correct. The square bill. So this is the time of the year where you're going to start seeing square bills really get into a moment of excelling, right? Okay, so lipless is going to do very well for you. Guys, this lipless right here. Now, this is my pond hopping lipless. I've got a couple of these in my boat. This is the Strike King Red Eye Shad. Comes in multiple different colors. I have so many of these with no paint on them because they just eat them like crazy. So it's my lakes, but that's a great one. But yeah, that square bill, guys. When you get into these square bill baits right here, square bills this time of year is going to do well. So one thing to start looking for is start watching the pattern, start watching what the fish are doing, especially if you can start to see that there's a lot of shad movement. Match the hatch, match the colors, go for that. So for me, I will go into there and I'll throw a shad color, but every now and then that chartreuse, that bluegill color will be the difference. It'll be the juice. Okay, but this is a bait right here. I do like a rattle on that bait. Bang this guy right here. Yeah, I was gonna say square bills red eye shad. That's right, Lenny. You know you've gone with me enough to see, especially in the fall, these can turn people into a believer. Actually, I got Lenny. Was it earlier this year or late last year? Lenny got onto a really good fish. And it was one of his first square bill bites. He wasn't a big square bill kind of guy. He's more of a power fisherman. And Lenny got onto a really nice fish with a square bill. It was funny that one. I remember I got after you too. I was like, you barely got him hooked. You got one hook on him, lighten that drag, let him run. Don't you do it. So, and then we got that fish in the boat. But yeah, that square bill is going to work well for you. Now, Lenny just brought up another good point here in a minute, and I will say that that's another good one. So guys, before I close it up on this square bill, I would definitely recommend throwing a square bill or a lipless crankbait and the definite kind of reels to use. You can use a lot of reels out there, and they're going to work well for you. Reels that are going to excel the most are going to be like that MG12. It's going to let you get out there, cover more water, get more distance, and get it out there. But where you're really going to want to see a lot of it is banging structure of some kind, laydowns, rip wrap. And of course, especially in a suspended structure like brush that's flooded, things like that. So yeah, Lenny, you know exactly. You remember that conversation. That's the exact day I'm talking about right there. He had a broken rod tip, didn't realize it till I realized he had one hook in this fish on a square bill. just one hook, not the whole treble. He had one hook of the treble on a broken tip rod, and he was talking about boat flipping. I was like, don't you do it, dude. I was like, don't you dare. You're going to lose that good fish. But yeah, so guys, that's the key thing. Bang those lipless crankbaits. But lipless crankbaits are going to get hung so much easier. So use that as a search bait. If you can bang it out of structure without getting it hung, that's going to do great for you on a lipless. Lipless are phenomenal. But if you're going to bang it off a structure and you want to get less hangups, square bill all day long. That's going to do great for you guys right there. And then, of course, MG12 and Kestrel Elites, those are going to, and that MGTI is going to allow you to throw those baits 10 times farther and cover more water. Granted, you can still throw these baits with a lot of different bait casters and do well with them, but don't sleep on like a Speed Demon Pro crankbait spinning reel rod. Get that we had it out there for quite a few years. If you guys can get a great kind of a linear S-glass style spinning rod with a light action, and if you want accuracy, if you're throwing in the wind and a light square bill, throw it on a spinner bait or a spinning rod application, like I was saying, like a glass rod, like a crankbait rod, but in spinning. That thing's going to do very, very good for you. You guys are going to cover a lot of water, and you're going to do great with those options in a spinning reel. All right, so Wacky Rig is another great option. But guys, what's one of our last baits to throw when we're talking fall transition, guys? What are we going to close it out on, guys? Let's see what you guys are throwing for your last and final recommendation going into fall baits. What are we throwing, guys? What's the last one? And I'll let you guys tell me what you guys want to see. I wonder if I might pick that up. Anyways, let's see here. Ned Rig glides. Okay, definitely. Drop shots, always going to do good. See, there it is right there. I was waiting for it right there. We are getting into that time of year, into fall transition. I said it. Rashawn said it right out of the gate, and I knew Rashawn was going to say it. Popper, Big Peppo, you're not wrong on Popper. That's going to be also up there with like that could fall into some of your frogs Rashawn was talking about. So there's a lot of poppers and frogs frogs will have popping action. And that falls also with like spooks and things of that nature. But frogs, lots of different frogs. This is frog season. Joe Cool, you're absolutely right. I didn't want to let Rashawn steal that glory. Love you, Rashawn. You know I love you. You got them awesome frogs out there. Guys, check out Rashawn. Rashawn, go ahead and drop in the comment section your baits right there so people can find it. But Rashawn's got his own line of frogs, guys, that is going to do very, very good for you guys right there. Frogs all day long. And, of course, if you're going to do frog fishing, check out some of the different Speed Demon Pro frog rod. You got the Asage's got the rivet. And then, of course, in the Spirali, you have that 70-30 blend power fishing with what kind of reel? Of course, we got to talk about that deadbolt if we're going to talk about anything. But that's another great system. Now, there is one deal I want to show you guys before I turn you guys loose on tackle that actually has a lot of baits in it that could be very relevant to some of your fall fishing. If you guys are looking for, okay, well, what's a package I could buy? I'm new to fishing. What is something that I could buy that's actually going to help me get on the water and catch fish, especially in the fall? Well, let's talk about this. Let me show you. There is something that I think is actually really neat that I want to show you guys right now that can do very well for you, and it's this guy right here. This is the Mad Bite Freshwater Fishing Lure Kit. Now, we have a square bill in that. We have a lipless. We have a popper in there. Those three baits right there are going to do fantastic for you in the fall. But another thing that works well, and I don't know if it's going to work well for you guys in your side of the country, but I think it will, no matter where you're at. This starts to get into later fall. That's going to be a spoon bite. Then, of course, you have several different spoons in this. Now, granted, you also have grubs in this, which will work great for trailers that you can put onto any spinners or bladed jigs that you have. So for $27.99, you can get into this 71-piece set, or on Amazon or in the TikTok shop, look for the 143-piece set. That is a great system right here in this Mad Bite kit. Plus, it's coming in that Hyperseal style tackle box, guys. Great kit. For under $33, you guys can get into a 71-piece or a 143-piece kit. This is a great kit that we didn't promote a whole lot, but it's a great entry-level kit with some great lures in it that will definitely catch fish for you in early fall and late fall, whether it's, like I said, square bill, poppers, lipless, or some of those spoons. It's going to do great for you guys. Well, guys, do me a favor. Make sure you're still sharing this. Share. If you're watching this in the rebroadcast or watching it live, especially you guys on Facebook, guys on YouTube. If you have a Facebook, copy the link and paste it. More views we get, the better. And I want to give away that Sharky 3 that I wasn't able to get the views for last week. Let's do this. Have you seen Lojo's Cast King fishing review yet? I don't know that I have. I need to take a look at that. I need to check it out. Send me the link, Brandon Johnson. Let me take a look. I appreciate it. But anyways, guys, yeah, I want to give away that Sharky 3 People's Champ in either a 2,000, 3,000, or 4,000 size reel. Let's get those views up. Let's get those shares out there, guys. Make sure you're commenting in the comment section what your favorite fall baits are, where you're fishing from, and if you ended up getting that Sharky 3, what you'd use it for. I'm going to pick 2 finalists from YouTube and 2 finalists from Facebook, and we're going to head them out next week when I go live next Tuesday. And what are we talking about next Tuesday? None other than these Betties right here, the Lethal Blaze combos, guys. Like I said, these are bright orange. They're beautiful. You got that flame pattern on them, and we'll get into that specs a little bit later next week when I go live. And hopefully I'm announcing your name when we go live. Guys, like I said, comment in the comment section what you're going to use them fall baits for, what your fall baits are primarily going to be, and what kind of rods and reels you're going to use them on, and where at in the country. Guys, that's going to do it for me tonight. I will see you guys next Tuesday night, hopefully when I'm calling your name for that giveaway. I'm out, and we'll see you guys next week. Peace.